Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are where we wanted to be. We are where we wanted to be. We are in the playoff picture. The committee moved us up to number 10, and we are projected to play Penn State or to travel up to Happy Valley to play Penn State in the first round. Get past them, then we have Miami or SMU waiting for us. Think about it now. Our Georgia Bulldogs traveling up to Happy Valley to play Penn State. Same Penn State team that almost lost to Bowling Green. The same Penn State team that came that close to losing to Illinois. The same Penn State team that couldn't hardly move the ball on that Ohio State defense. Couldn't get in the end zone. Yeah, that Penn State team. And in the second round, we have SMU or Miami waiting. That is if we remain where we are, and it looks like they're going to keep us there somewhere between maybe 10 and 11. So I say that to say, why are so many Dawg fans complaining? Look at the bracket where they have us at. Take a close look. Do you see any team on that side of the bracket stopping us from getting to the semifinals? So I need everyone in Dawg, all my fellow Dawg Nation brothers and sisters, calm down. Just woosah. Woosah. Calm down. We got this. We got this. And what I want you to do now is go get your popcorn ready. Because I'm Armando Black, and this is the Dawg Call. We are right back where we want to be. We are right back where we need to be. Calm down, everyone. Calm down. We're ranked number 10. Do you know what that means? We are in the dance. We are in the dance. Now, like many of you, I would love to have the first round game in Athens. To be honest with you, I would love to have a bye and already be in the quarterfinals. But you all got to remember, this was our rebuilding year. We lost a lot last year. We've gotten hit with injuries. Injuries after injuries after injuries. Still getting hit with injuries. Looks like we're going to be without Dylan Bell for maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Both of the Robinson, I call them Robinson brothers, both of them have been down. We haven't really had them. We're basically down to our third and fourth string at running back. Cash Jones, I don't know the extent of his injuries, but we're down to Nate Frazier and Bowens. No, we've had to shuffle and reshuffle around the old line. We've had to reshuffle around the O line. Our D line has been hit with injuries this season. And with all of that being said, we are 2 games away from being in the playoffs. All thanks to great performance this past Saturday night, where we were the underdogs. We went in as the underdogs. Well, we were favored. Vegas had us favored, but a lot of people were picking against us to lose to Tennessee. Tennessee was ranked higher than us. Tennessee actually dominated the team that beat us, Bama. And we won that game, 31-17. Now, all we got to do is take care of business. The last 2 games, UMass, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is a rival, so we're not going to take them lightly. You know about rivalry games. Anything can happen in rivalry games. So we can't go into that game BSing on Black Friday. Now, as far as the committee, let me explain something to all of you. Now, Indiana, and I hear a lot of dogcasters are talking about Indiana the team is undefeated. What the hell do you expect the committee to do with them? To leave them out? They're undefeated in the Big Ten Conference. If you go undefeated in a Power 4 conference, chances are this time of year in late November, you're going to be ranked in the top 5. No matter who you are, what brand you are. You see, because if this was, let's just say if this was Nebraska that was sitting at 10-0, I don't think many of you would have a problem with it. If this was Penn State sitting at 10-0, y'all won't have a problem with it. If this was even Washington or USC sitting at 10-0, you all would not have a problem with it. But because it's Indiana, a team that's known for basketball, college basketball, and never football, you got to go all the way back to 1967, the last time they was relevant in football. This late in the season. When you think about Indiana football, you think about Anthony Thompson, Lee Corso. Those are the only 2 names I could think of when I think about Indiana football. Now, when you are oh, Mondo, they have a weak schedule. Okay, so when you're given a weak schedule, what is your job? When you are given a weak schedule, you only have one job, just like any other school. If you're given a weak schedule and you draw a weak schedule, you have one job. Beat and win them games decisively. Don't carry those teams 4 quarters. You put them away early. By halftime, your backup should be in the game. That is what Indiana has done. See, a lot of you are looking at the opponents, but you got to pay attention to one number. 30.1. That is the margin of victory in every last one of their games, with the exception of Michigan. But those other games that they played in, Nebraska, let's just talk about Nebraska now. Nebraska got blowed out by Indiana. Then Indiana dropped, 40-some points on them? And Nebraska only scored 7 points on them. That game was over with by the end of the first quarter. That same Nebraska team the following week goes up to Columbus and comes that close to beating Ohio State. Could have been an upset. All thanks to a goal line. Thanks to Ohio State's goal line defense. If it was not for that Ohio State goal line defense, Ohio State probably would have 3 losses right now and would be out of the playoffs, because they would have lost to Penn State and they damn sure would have lost to Nebraska. So everyone is hanging their hat on Ohio State blowing out Indiana. Don't even think about it. That's not going to happen. And Ohio State was hit with a very serious injury on that D line. They're going to be missing one of their defensive tackles for that game Saturday. So I would be more surprised about an Ohio State blowout win than I would about an Indiana victory. That's what a lot of you might want to get prepared for. What if Indiana beats Ohio State? And I'm not even really going to call it an upset. Why? Because their name is Indiana. Indiana's undefeated. Ohio State has one loss. And if we were going by the old way of doing things, Indiana would be ranked number 2 behind Oregon. If we were in the BCS era, if we were in the era where the AP poll was the only thing that mattered, Indiana would be ranked number 2. If we were going off of wins and losses, which it appears that this committee is going off of wins and losses. So I don't have a problem with Indiana being where they're at. Indiana, Ohio, Indiana, we're going to find out. Are they a playoff team? That's going to manifest itself. We are going to find out Saturday at 12 noon. Between 12 noon and by 4 p.m. Saturday afternoon, we will know if that Indiana Hoosiers team is a playoff team or not. So I'm not harping on that. And I'm not harping on the unknown. Penn State has been knocking on the door for years. Penn State got screwed one year in 2016 from making the playoffs. Okay, so I'm not really harping on Penn State. They're no slouch. Okay, they are no slouch. I do think right now Penn State, in my opinion, is a playoff team. Would I have them ranked that high? No, I would not. They would not be ranked that high. I don't think they're better than Bama. I don't think they're better than Ole Miss. I don't think they're better than Georgia. But I do think they're better than Miami. I do think Penn State would wipe the floor with Notre Dame. I do think Penn State is better than Boise State. And I think I don't really know if Penn State could beat Indiana. I think that would be a good game. I would have loved to see them play. So Penn State is not my problem either. My problem is Miami and Notre Dame because they have 2 terrible losses. Terrible losses. I don't give a damn about the margin of victory because I watched that game, that Georgia Tech Miami game. At one time, Georgia Tech was up by 2 touchdowns. Georgia Tech dominated that game from start to finish. Miami never led in that game. Georgia Tech dominated that game. They dominated that game in the trenches, and they shut down those receivers. Now let's be totally honest. Miami should be sitting at 3 or 4 losses right now. Virginia Tech got screwed. I stand on that. Virginia Tech got screwed. They got lucky against Cal. So I say that to say this. Oh, Duke. Attrition messed Duke up. Injuries messed Duke up. Other than that, Duke at full strength would have beaten that Miami team. Miami has been fortunate enough not to have Pitt on their schedule, Clemson on their schedule, or SMU on their schedule. And Florida, they caught Florida at the right time. Now, the Florida Gators right now, the way Florida is playing right now, I think this Florida team today In November, we beat that Miami team. That's one of my problems. Miami is not a playoff team. And I've been saying it all year. Me and Sniper have been going back and forth. But I'm telling you, Miami is not a playoff team. And they will not get out of Charlotte. They won't. I don't give a damn who it is. If it's SMU or Clemson, Miami will not make it out of Charlotte. And because that defense is atrocious. You're not winning a national championship with that soft ass defense. And I don't give a damn. You could score 50, 60, 80 points. But if you can't stop the other team, it's going to come down to a situation to where if your opponent has the ball last and your defense is garbage, you can't win. Miami is not a playoff team. They have no business being ranked in front of Ole Miss, Georgia. They have no business being ranked in front of Ole Miss and Georgia. I don't think Miami, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. All the 12 teams that are in that bracket, I don't think Miami could beat either one of them. I don't know if Miami could beat Boise State, to be honest with you. Let's just go down the list. I highly doubt if Miami could beat. Could Miami beat Oregon? No. Could Miami beat Ohio State? No. Could Miami beat Texas? No. Could Miami beat Penn State? No. Could Miami beat Indiana? I doubt it. Could Miami beat Notre Dame? I doubt it. Could Miami beat Bama? Hell no. Could Miami beat Ole Miss? Hell to the no, no, no. No. Could Miami beat Georgia? Don't even think about it. Could Miami beat Boise State? I doubt it. Now let's talk about Notre Dame. And we're going to harp on wins and losses. Notre Dame has the worst loss out of any team in the bracket. They lost at home. It wasn't like they went on the road and played Northern Illinois. They lost at home on national TV to Northern Illinois. They lost. Got outplayed, outcoached at home in their own backyard. That should count for something. I don't know what the hell makes that committee think or even insinuate that Notre Dame is better than Bama. And the thing about it is, Dawgs fans shouldn't really be angry. You know what fan bases should be mad? Tennessee, Ole Miss, Bama. Those fan bases should be mad as hell. The notion that you have Notre Dame ranked higher than Bama is laughable. You have Notre Dame projected to be the host team against Bama. So basically, you're saying that Bama is better than, you're saying that Notre Dame is better than Bama from your eye test? No. You see that guy, the spokesperson for the college football playoffs? That dude is full of crap. Contradicted himself. I forgot his name. I don't really want to mispronounce nobody. But one thing about me, if I can't really pronounce your name, I'm just not going to mention it. But you all know what I'm talking about. That brother, the spokesperson for the CFP playoff committee. You all over the place, contradicting yourself. Missouri lost last Saturday. They were ranked number 23 coming into last Saturday. They got their ass handed to them by South Carolina, and they're still ranked number 23. Make that make sense. Make it make sense now. You say you value wins and losses. You value wins and losses, but you got SMU ranked ahead of BYU. Let me say it again now. You value wins and losses and your eye test. But BYU dragged SMU. They played head to head and BYU dragged them. But you got SMU ranked ahead of BYU. Make it make sense. And another thing, it seems like they changed the rules as we go along. Because I could have sworn that the Power 4 conference champions were the only ones that got the buys. Now they're trying to move the goalposts and saying, "Oh no, G5 conference champions can get the buys too." So it seems like to me, on that note, they're playing politics. They're playing politics because there's this campaign, this anti primetime campaign going on. This anti Deion Sanders primetime campaign going on through a group of good old boys that just don't like him. And I'm not going to get all into the political aspects of it, of why I made that statement, but it is what it is. Y'all know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. Because we all know damn well if it was Oklahoma State or one of the Arizona teams, if Arizona State beats BYU and then beats Colorado in Dallas, which could very well happen, Arizona State, they wouldn't waste no time putting Arizona State in that number four seed spot. Same thing with BYU. If BYU beat Colorado, they're going to put them in that number 4 slot. But if Colorado, pay close attention, you all. If Colorado wins the Big 12, they're going to try to screw Colorado and put them at number 12. And that's egregious. Because Colorado plays a Power 4 schedule. Boise State plays a bunch of G5 cupcakes. Now, I don't give a damn about them, so we're going to reward them because of how they played against, or they didn't win the game. So we're rewarding losing. That's what the committee is saying. We're going to reward Boise State because they played Oregon close. They played the number 1 team in the nation close. So, according to that logic, then, if Army, okay, so according to that logic, then Vanderbilt should be ranked because Vanderbilt beat the number 1 ranked team, Bama. They should be ranked regardless of having 4 losses. They should be ranked. And I don't know what this love affair they have with Missouri. Missouri keeps losing, and they hold them in the damn top 25 for some reason. It's like they can't let them go. They're just holding on. They're not a top 25 team. They're not. Part of my reason for saying it is because they've been getting hit with injuries. Number 1. Number 2, they've regressed. They're nowhere near the caliber level that they were on last year. They're not performing nowhere near to that level. Nowhere near it. But let's get back to the playoff scenario. Notre Dame and Miami should not be in there. That's my issue. Not Indiana. Indiana is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Their margin of victory is in the top 5. They're beating their opponents by an average of 30 points or more. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. You cannot penalize them for that. Now, some of you are saying if they get blown out by Ohio State, they should be They should not. They're not a play. Well, I agree with that. If they go to Columbus, and get blown out by 30 or more points, hell no, they're not a playoff team. And the reason why I say that is because they beat a team, they blew out Nebraska. So if Nebraska can go to Ohio State and take the same Buckeyes team to the limit and play them 4 quarters, then surely this Indiana team should be able to do the same thing. Indiana don't have to win the game. They have the easiest path right now out of everybody because they don't necessarily have to win. All they got to do is play Ohio State close and make this a 4 quarters game. I think the committee would still give them a pass if they lost by 14 points. I think 20 would be stretching it. Anything over 20, they're done. That committee is going to look at them totally different. But should this team be getting blown out by that Ohio State team, the same Ohio State team that Nebraska took down to the wire, went to the wire with toe-to-toe 4 quarters for 4 quarters, and only lost by a goal line stand, by inches to Ohio State. So for the Joel Klatts and the Colin Cowherds, they're just SEC haters anyway. Joel Klatt, it does matter, sir. Because the reason why is they have the 106 ranked strength of schedule. They have the worst strength of schedule out of all the teams in the playoff bracket. This will be their only ranked test to see if they are playoff worthy. So it damn well matters how they play against Ohio State. Yes, it matters. And for anybody that says it don't matter, then you're just being a hater. You're just being a hater. You're just trolling. Like Danny Cannell. Danny Cannell is an idiot. He is the biggest idiot. This idiot said yesterday that the ACC should get 2 teams in. He's basically saying that a 2-loss Miami team deserves to be in it more than a 2-loss Tennessee or 2-loss Georgia team. I don't know what Danny Cannell's problem is. This dude act like he had his heart broken by some female from the state of Georgia. Did some female from the state of Georgia, did a Georgia peach break your heart, Danny Cannell? Because it seems like you have this lasting vendetta against Georgia or anything Georgia related. You defecate on my Georgia Bulldogs every chance you get. So some Georgia peach must broke your heart. Some Georgia peach must put it on you and broke your heart. Did you in real bad? Because every time I turn around, you defecating on my Georgia Bulldogs for no reason. You want to discredit the work that they put in this year. The number 1 strength of schedule, that matters. I don't give a damn how much you troll or how much hating you do. And all that nonsense that you over there talking. You sound like an idiot. You sound like an idiot. You're speaking out of emotions instead of with facts. Well, see, with Danny Cannell, it's feelings and not facts. And all that crap you over there saying, Danny Cannell, it sounds good. It sounds good. But in real life, Facts don't give a damn about your feelings. And the fact is that my Georgia Bulldogs would drop 50 or 60 points on their weak ass, pathetic ass Miami Hurricane defense. So if you do look up and so happen to get out of Charlotte, if that Hurricanes team look up and get out of Charlotte, hopefully we'll find out. Because trust and believe me, as a Georgia Bulldog fan, I've been wanting the Miami Hurricanes for a long time. A long time. This goes all the way back to 02. Well, we should have been the ones playing y'all in that national championship game. But that's another subject. That's neither here or there. To my Dawgs fans, we are in the playoffs. It don't matter if we're playing in Sanford Stadium or we playing in Beaver Stadium. We will beat Penn State. If that is our first round opponent, we will beat them. I'm not the least bit worried about them. I'm not the least bit worried about SMU or Miami in the quarterfinals at all. Not the least bit worried about it. Would I have loved to have the first round game in Athens? Yes. Yes. After what we saw this past Saturday, oh hell yeah. Can you imagine how lit that place will be for a home playoff game? Yes. But the thing about it is, and let me just explain this to you all. Just like the situation that Bama is in right now, it was going to go one or two ways. All right. Either, let's just say if we would have beat Ole Miss. If we'd have beat Ole Miss, we still wouldn't be hosting no playoff game in Athens. You know what would be going on? We would be getting ready to go to Atlanta. We would be getting ready to go to Atlanta with one loss. And no matter what would have happened in Atlanta, we would not have been hosting the game. We would have been on a bye week. We would have had a bye, and in the quarterfinals, we would have been playing somebody on the neutral site. We wouldn't be playing in Sanford Stadium. Had we lost in Atlanta, we'd have been a lower seed playing on the road. So the only way you could actually guarantee a first round bye, the only way you could guarantee the first round bye is if you do it the way Oregon is doing. Or Ohio State. And the way things are going for Ohio State, say if Ohio State loses to Oregon. See, that's where a lot of you getting so uptight about these brackets. Ohio State is not going to be in that fifth seed. They either going to be ranked number one seed with a bye, or they're going to be a low seed with 2 losses. Y'all have to excuse that noise of lawn care people out there doing our yard. But it's going to be one or two things. So everyone take a chill pill. Calm down. Now, Oregon may get that fifth spot. And I'm assuming they'll take care of business against Washington. Oregon could lose the Big Ten championship game, and they'll put them right at the number 5 spot. Which would be very entertaining if they try to screw Colorado. How funny would it be if they try to screw Colorado? If Colorado won the Big 12, put them at the 12th spot playing Oregon in a rematch from last year. Do you think Prime Time and them boys wouldn't be licking their chops at another chance at Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks after the way they tried to embarrass them last year? That game right there would be would be very interesting. That would be a very, very interesting first round playoff game. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Oregon is gonna run the table, finish 13-0, and go into the playoffs as the number one seed. Because I don't see either Indiana or Ohio State beating that Oregon team. When that Oregon team is laser focused, when they're laser focused, they're a very dangerous team. That Ohio State team is getting hit with some injuries, and they have some issues right now. And I'm not so sure that they'll beat Indiana. Now, if they do, one thing I can guarantee you, I don't believe that they'll blow Indiana out. A lot of you can just get that out of your head. Tennessee fans, just get that out of your head. They're not going to blow that Indiana team out. And I know you're hoping for that. If I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm rooting for Auburn. I'm rooting for Florida. And I'm rooting for Army. I'm rooting like hell for Army if I'm a Tennessee fan. That right there, if Army could beat Notre Dame, that will put Tennessee right back in the playoffs. Just like that. Immediately. Back in the playoffs. It'll almost be like what happened last Saturday never really happened. That won't even matter. That committee would not hesitate to put Tennessee back in the playoffs. So, Vols fans, hey, if you ever pull for another team in your life, you may want to for one day and one day only. And I know you hate the Florida Gators. The Gators take care of business against Ole Miss, that'll knock Ole Miss out. That will eliminate Ole Miss. And this is a trap game because it seems like Lane Kiffin is a little bit more focused on what's happening with the playoffs than he is about Florida. Because he talked more about the playoffs in his press conference than he did about prepping for Florida. And that could be a disaster, a recipe for disaster. Florida is not to be taken lightly at all. I've been saying this for the last month. This team is dangerous. They're dangerous right now. Just ask LSU. They officially ended LSU's season last year. Eliminated LSU. Florida and South Carolina, those are two very dangerous teams. Very dangerous. And Texas better not sleep on Kentucky. Don't sleep on Kentucky. Do not sleep on Kentucky. Texas need to go out there and play Kentucky hard. They need to do to Kentucky what they did to Oklahoma. Jump on them early and jump on them often. Now Texas got them in Austin. They got them at home, so we all know they'll have a little assistance from the refs. They'll have a little assistance from the refs. But they'll be okay. But Tennessee fans, I look, last week around this time I had said, and really I was thinking with common sense. I said, listen, Tennessee, win or lose, Tennessee is in the playoffs. They don't have anything to worry about because they only had one loss at the time. I didn't think that they would get bumped all the way out of the playoff bracket. But it's still early. We still got 2 more weeks left. Anything can happen. Now, if Army goes in there, and this game is going to be, I think in Yankee Stadium. The game is going to be in Yankee Stadium. If Army takes care of business and beats Notre Dame, which they are capable of doing, and Notre Dame can't be beaten, Tennessee will be right back in it. Now, Kirby, you said what you said after the game about the committee. You said what you had to say in the press conference about the committee. Please, this tour that you're doing about bashing the community, the committee, that please stop it. Please stop it. That's what we are here for. Let us do your dirty work for you. All we need you to do is get this team focused for UMass and Georgia Tech. That's it. UMass, Georgia Tech. Let us call out this committee on their BS. Leave it to the Brandon Adams, the Michael Griffiths, the Big Dog Bretts, Locked On Bulldog, those two brothers from Locked On Bulldogs, Uncle Lou, myself, Armando Black. Hell, you even got people in the mainstream media calling this committee out. Magdal Russo, Paul Feinbaum, Stephen A. Smith called them out. Molly called them out. Pat McAfee is sounding the alarm on them. Everybody is calling this committee out. Let the media let us do our job, Kirby. You only got one job, brother. Just get this team ready and have this team focused to take care of business against UMass and Georgia Tech, and especially Georgia Tech, because one thing we don't need no situation where we're in a close 4 quarters game with Georgia Tech and this committee coming up with some kind of excuse. Well, Georgia doesn't look like a playoff team. They struggle with Georgia Tech. We don't need that. Don't give them no kind of excuse. Nothing to leave us, because it's obvious this committee is not Georgia friendly. No, right now, they have no choice but to put us in. They have no choice. We earned our way in. Don't give them no reason to take it away from us. Have them boys ready for UMass and Georgia Tech. Just like Carson Beck said last Saturday, the playoffs start last Saturday. The playoffs continues this Saturday against UMass and Georgia Tech. These are not regular season games. Don't treat them like regular season games. Treat them like playoff games. From this point on, we got to be in playoff mode. We cannot be BSing around with that UMass team or Georgia Tech. Don't want to give that committee, because it's obvious they are playing politics. They're all about this right here. They're about dollars. They're playing politics. They don't give a damn about the fans. They don't give a damn about football. They don't give a damn about college football. They don't give a damn about what's right. All they care about this right here. And the big money and the networks that they can get from the networks. That's all that committee cares about. I don't believe they even watch football. They're bureaucrats. That's all they are. Each one of them probably got somebody in their pockets. So let us do the dirty work. Let us do the dirty work, Kirby. You stay focused on getting the team ready for these last 2 games. And as for you Dawg fans, the most important thing is we are in the playoff bracket. We win these last 2 games, we're in. We're in. We're in. Doesn't matter where you play it. I'm not worried about going up to Happy Valley and playing Penn State. Yes, is it going to be cold? Would it probably be down in the 20s or in the teens or something like that? Yes. Or single digits? Yes. Even with that, I still think this team could beat Penn State. I really do. Remember, defense travels. Defense travels in all types of weather. And I will put our defense up against any team, any offense in the nation. And that Penn State offense is nowhere near on the level of Bama, Ole Miss, Oregon, or Ohio State. They don't have an elite offense. They don't have players that can stretch the field. They are a line up, grounded out, pounded out type of team. And they don't have that type of personnel to blow our guys off the line like that. They don't have that type of talent. So I'm not worried about it. We'll go up there and whoop their ass gladly. Because you know what? In case and some of you are not old enough to remember this, but we've been on Penn State an ass whipping that's been long overdue for 42 years. If anybody sit down and have a conversation with Herschel Walker, and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. What is the one blemish on Herschel Walker's career? College football career. The one that got away in 1982. The national championship game. That national championship ring. That should have been Herschel Walker and Vince Dooley's. $42 years. So I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I am good with it. So everybody just calm down. Like I said at the top of the show, woosah. Woosah. Calm down. We're right where we want to be. We're right where we need to be. Just think of all the other teams. Ask any Tennessee fan, would they love to trade places with us? You see, we don't need to start getting all cocky and sounding like a bunch of privileged fans or entitled fan base. We got to be careful not to become tired fans, always whining and complaining about something. That ain't us. Once again, I say to you, just ask any South Carolina fan, would they love to trade places with us? Ask any Tennessee fan, would they love to trade places with us? Ask any LSU fan, would they love to trade places with us? Ask any Florida fan, wouldn't they love to trade places with us? Florida's never been to a playoff. Never. Florida hasn't been relevant since 2008. The closest they've ever been to the playoffs was 2020, and that was during the pandemic, unfortunately. They had a good enough team to get to the playoffs, but they just missed field goal in the Texas A&M game, and some idiot throwing a shoe in the LSU game, and that sealed their fate. Other than that, they probably would have been in the playoffs in 2020. But I say that to say this, everyone, we're right where we need to be. You just get in. Just get in the dance. That's what it's all about. That's the most important thing, making it to the dance, getting an opportunity. Don't you know Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey, Rosemary St. Jack, Kendall Milton, Dejon Edwards would have loved to have the opportunity to defend their crown last year. But they didn't get that opportunity because they didn't make it to the playoffs. We have a chance to do what they weren't able to do. So everyone, let's just count our blessings. Let's just count our blessings. The team took care of business Saturday night. We're right where we want to be. Did I want to host a game in Athens? Would I love to have a home game in Athens? Yes. Yes. But there's nothing we can do about that. Long as the teams in front of us keep winning, there's nothing that we can do about it. That's out of our hands. And once again, even if we were to beat Ole Miss, chances are we wouldn't have been hosting no playoff game. We would have went to Atlanta, won the SEC championship game, and been sitting there with a bye for the first round and playing on a neutral site on New Year's Day in the quarterfinals. So everyone just calm down. Everyone is mad. Everyone is hot because we're not getting a playoff game in Athens. Calm down. Calm down. Do I agree that Notre Dame and Miami shouldn't be where they are? But hey, we got 2 weeks left. You never know what could happen. Miami has to go to Syracuse in the season finale and play Syracuse. And that's a dangerous place to go. How many teams have went into the Carrier Dome and came out of there with an L? How many teams have went into the Carrier Dome and came out of there with an L? Ask Dabo. Ask Dabo about Syracuse. Yeah. All right. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Make sure you hit that like button. Hey, a little disappointed, but I'm happy. I'm happy. Listen. We're right there where we want to be. 2 games away. 2 games away from it being official. So everyone, I want to thank you all for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Please hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button. Share the video and leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know, how do you feel? How do you feel? I mean, are you upset about where we are at number 10, or are you happy that we are in the tournament, the playoffs? Are you happy that we're there now? Because in my opinion, we are one of the most dangerous teams in the playoffs, because we're going to have time to get our players healthy. We're going to be able to get some of our players back, and whoever we see in the first round is in trouble. They're in trouble, because Kirby has more than a week to prepare for you. Woo, 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 woo. Ask Michigan fans. Ask Ohio State fans. Ask Oklahoma fans. Ask TCU fans. Ask Bama fans. When that man has time to prepare for you, a couple of weeks to prepare for you, look out. Everyone, thank you all for coming out and joining me here on the Dawg Call. Dawgs fans, hey, just calm down. We're right where we want to be. Everyone, thank you all. Please get home safe. That wind is blowing out there pretty hard. pretty hard. Look like the temperatures are going to drop here tonight. So everyone, please get home. Please get home safely. Have a safe ride home. For those of you that are on your way to work, working second shift or whatever, please just get to your destination safely. All right. And like I always say, take care of yourselves and each other. And always and forever, don't worry, be happy. Because at the end of the day, it's always going to be go Dogs. Sick 'em. Woo, 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 woo. I'm Armando Black. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And this has been the Dawg Call.